Grassroots Sessions.
Some inventions, now we can create dimensions, crown the earth with all our feces, profound variety of species. Many think we are the smartest, but you are just another carcass, swimming in a sea of fractals, where slavery can be for animals. I love you, cow. I love you, bull. It's time to die, make us full. We were scared of your horns. Now we breed you and Hello, beautiful beings!
Thank you so much for tuning into our grassroots session today. Thank you for our amazing patrons for making these videos possible. We are so grateful for you, and your names are at the end of every video. If you'd like to become a patron, please check out the link below. And if you enjoyed today's session, then please feel free to pop a quid in our virtual hat via the link below as well. Thank you so much, guys. Today's song was written by Alex, and would you like to talk about the song?
Yeah, so it's called, thank you, Kate, it's called Conscious Omnivore, and yeah, it's a very special song to us because we're both vegans. We've been vegan for 8 years in March 2021, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. So to give some backstory on the song, just a brief backstory, Katie and I have been together 10 years this winter, and when we met, yeah, we were both essentially homeless, and we were living together on a couch in a cold, damp mill in Preston, and we was
good times.
Yeah, it was good times, and we was, you know, writing songs every night, and our love for each other was undeniable, and yeah, but you know, we had no audience, no beautiful support like we have now. Mobius loop was virtually unheard of, and we had no money, very little money for food, and we looked at our options, and we realised that the best option would be to enrol to UCLan. We enrolled to University of Central Lancashire to study experimental music, and we did that, and it gave us access to loans and recording studios and accommodation, and
best decision we ever made.
That was in 2011, and we graduated together 3 years later with first class honours degrees, and we put our heart and soul into every project, and
it was such an amazing degree,
yeah,
and
our
tutors were incredible.
Yeah, they were
really amazing people.
Yeah, and so this song was my final performance piece. I started writing it in the build up to our final performances. I wasn't quite sure whether it would be my final performance piece, but Katie and I, we went vegan during university, inspired by
one of the lecturers.
Yeah.
Amazing Dr. John Aveyard.
yeah, he was such an inspiration to us.
Well,
as was the sorry. As was, we got, because we were at uni, we got access to the internet, and there began an influx of footage on YouTube of terrible footage of UK slaughterhouses, and we'd never seen this before growing up as on an omnivorous diet, also at the time Gary Yourofsky was an incredible influence to many of the modern vegan activists we see today. Gary since stepped down from doing activism because he's just so sickened by the treatment of animals, but he's inspired a new generation of activists, and this song is just directly influenced by our veganism, and I'm just so proud of the performance. The final performance in particular at university was marked by two of our lecturers who weren't vegan, but they saw a lot of positives in the performance, and they actually awarded it the highest grade that had ever been awarded for a performance, and I'm so grateful that they did that.
It was an incredible
It gave us both such an inspiring push to write more vegan songs, and we're so grateful. And
if you want to watch the performance, it's on our YouTube channel, and it's called Conscious Omnivore.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, Katie's in the performance, as is the amazing Avatar Raz, and also Katie's final degree performance is on our YouTube channel as well. Really, literally so grateful that we went on that university course. It pulled us up when we were down, and we put so much time and energy into all the facilities we got there at UCLan, and it shaped us into the songwriters we are today, and we will always remember that. And funnily enough, 5 years later, we ended up being given the incredible opportunity to house sit our head lecturer's house in Hebden Bridge a few months after our son Zaya was born, and again that became a new chapter in our songwriting. We wrote so many songs in his house, and we just want to say a massive love and respect to Les Gillen for
we
doing
love
that.
You.
We love
you're
you.
Watching.
He's
You're
like,
an amazing being.
He's been like a granddad to our son Zaya, and a father to us, and we're so grateful.
What an amazing man.
Thank you,
Such
Les.
an inspiration. And to all of our lecturers at university, Justine Flynn and John Aveyard and Simon Partridge, incredible beings. You're amazing people.
And so the song it's an interesting time signature, because it's in 5/4. It's if it was to play it rhythmically, I've got the piano in front of me here, it would be like. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2.
Should we do a little dance?
Yeah, we did consider doing a rhythmic version. I think we might have done one in the one of the Bohemia
gigs,
nights or something at the beautiful Planet Cafe, which was
another influence.
Yeah, another incredible influence on the style of song that was coming through at the time was the beautiful Planet Cafe, where Katie and I volunteered shortly after starting university, and we just want to say a massive love and respect to Brett Lund and to Jane and Dave, who they all set that project up.
Anarchist Cafe.
Yeah, it's an anarchist cafe in Preston, and it made Preston such a hive of creativity through those years when we were at university, and we're so blessed for that. And that's where again we was exposed to a lot of the information on veganism, because it was a green cafe. It was green
and had lots of information about vegetarian, vegan lifestyles, and we learnt a lot there.
We did, and we got to explore different writing styles, and being in 5/4, and also must admit that the first half of the chords. That's Buena Vista. It's Chan Chan. We were listening to that album so much at university, because it was almost like because we studied experimental music, there was a massive element of ethnomusicology where we got to study all the world's music, and that album Buena Vista, it was on all the time. We lived in a magical Mobius loop musical house throughout university with it was a 6-piece band then, and we were all just feeding each other's knowledge and sharing music that we'd never heard of, and so that was I don't even know the words, but it's like. But I turned that into 5/4 and added.
And it's got
that second half
such
bit.
A different feel.
Yeah, no, it's totally different, but it's great to acknowledge the influences on these things and show people that how songwriters come to finding new, inspirations for new songs, and it's the concept that's in it, really. We've debated a lot about the topic of omnivorous, diets, and whether, we've done a lot of research into what is the best diet, because when we went vegan, it was for the animals and the ethics, and now that we're parents, obviously we're very aware that we want what's best for our son, and we're really happy to live in a time where the science backs up that a vegan diet is healthy for all stages of life, including pregnancy, including childhood, including old age, and all the way through.
It can be healthy if you do it right.
A well-planned, plant-based, whole food diet.
You can't just eat Pringles and Coca-Cola, obviously.
You can't, no.
But any diet can be unhealthy. So as long as you, obviously we had to do a lot of research, because like Alex says, when we went vegan, we weren't doing it for our health. Seeing the way that the animals were treated, just a massive gut reaction from us was we don't want to fund that. We didn't want to put our money towards it and support that industry. And veganism is essentially a boycott movement. It's a movement of people who boycott the animal agriculture industry.
But then that goes right back to predating written text is the philosophy of ahimsa. That's the philosophy of non-violence. So it runs right through the history of human civilization, the notion of causing as little suffering as possible to animals and human animals, and
we find it quite astonishing that even today in this modern time, people will argue that animals can't feel pain, and it's just quite astonishing to us, given that science shows us through biology that animals have brains, and brains have a central nervous system, and the ability to feel pain is something integral to animals. That's why animals feel pain, is so they can run away from danger. It's an irrefutable fact that animals feel pain. It's been proven over and over and over again.
Billions and billions of animals a year are being slaughtered. If you include the fish in the sea, trillions of animals, and it is just sickening. This song really does just stem from becoming aware of all of this. At the time when this song was coming through, we'd rescued 2 chickens called Sappho and Shiva, and unfortunately shortly after they arrived, Shiva she died, and it was a really sad time. But I managed to use that trauma for these animals to create what was in a silent movie that became a part of this performance, Conscious Omnivore, for my final degree piece. And it was a celebration of Shiva, and we gave, me and Sappho, the other chicken, we gave Shiva a water burial into the River Ribble in Preston, and then from that I filmed that moment, and you can see that in the film, and then I go on to play a silent movie character inspired by Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. I try to explore the notion of someone becoming conscious of trying to eat a sentient being in the silent movie, and in the final performance I'm on screen acting out this this awakening to suffering, whilst actually on stage in front of the audience I'm playing the piano live to it. And then at the very end after taking the audience through the journey of this chicken on screen being alive at one point, and then it shows the water burial of Shiva, and then at the very end I actually bring Sappho out, the chicken, onto the stage, and she does a couple of beautiful little singing notes, and really touches the hearts of the audience. I felt, and then I just walk off stage because
Sappho felt so comfortable with Alex, because when she came to us, like we say, Shiva died, and then Sappho was alone, and chickens are very much flock animals. They like to live with company, so Sappho would come into our living room and she'd sit on our lap like a cat, and she'd purr and make beautiful sounds.
Strawberries.
And she was so confident in our home and around us, and she loved strawberries and broccoli.
And snuggling on the sofa with us.
And whenever Alex had her, she felt safe and calm. So when he had her in this basket on the stage, and when he did bring her out, she was just so calm because she was with Alex, and she made the most beautiful sounds.
She did. I used to literally, through that time, we were living such a creatively abundant life near Avon Park, in an incredible house there where Sappho lived with us, and I used to take her to the Japanese gardens every day.
You take her on a bike
in the basket on the bike,
she
and
loved
she loved
that.
it. And then I'd get her out,
and she'd be
run
digging
around.
and digging for she loved.
And I'd be writing lyrics while she's digging, and people would be like waving, like, "Is that a chicken?"
People literally used to say, "I didn't know that chickens were cute, and I feel bad. I've just eaten some
and she'd
chicken."
stand on my arm, and
she
she'd
was
be
such a
flapping,
lovely
and
character.
she's snuggling people and saying hello to everyone.
The thing that gave us a lot of trauma, of course, was everyone around us feel, because of the society, it's totally normal to eat chickens, and people thought it was okay to joke about eating her, and it was quite cold and cruel, and it would hurt us. And then realising and finding out that the amount of chickens that are slaughtered in the UK is the most obscene number that you can't quite comprehend. The number of chickens slaughtered in the UK every single month is 84 million individual birds, and we were living with this one individual chicken that we had so much love for, and she had so much character and personality. We've been to animal saves at the slaughterhouse in Preston, and the amount of birds going into crammed into these trucks is the most traumatizing thing to witness, when you know how much of an individual being a chicken is. And then we eventually realized that she Sappho, obviously living around humans and stuff was amazing, but she did really need to be around chickens.
Well, also we were about to go on tour, so we took her to a sanctuary, didn't we?
And she was with living around other chickens. We made sure it was a really safe place for her, open outdoors, loads of grass. And I remember we went to see her like 3 months after we dropped her off, and then we didn't go for 3 months because we didn't want to create some weird attachment thing, because like I say, she became so close to Alex. Anyway, after 3 months we just went to check on her, and never for once in a million years did we think she would ever remember us, because chickens are within their own capacity chickens, and we don't know what their memory's like or anything like this. Anyway, we go and she's there with this massive flock of chickens, and she looks like top bird, they have the hierarchies, and she's right there with the cockerel and she's proper like looking big and healthy, and all the other chickens were a bit smaller than her. Anyway, we go, and Alex, I remember so much, you'd say her name, you'd go Sappho, used to say it in that tone, and he shouts over to this flock of chickens quite far down the field, Sappho,
as we're walking in as well.
We walked in, and literally her head peeks up like this, and she's looking around, and we walk towards this flock of chickens, and all the chickens run away, and Sappho runs towards us, and we could could not believe it.
And
It
she
was
came
like,
running
oh
over
my
all
gosh.
inquisitive.
And we had
how
strawberries
you
and
doing?
broccoli.
Yeah, we brought all the things she
there
loved.
was a slight change when Alex goes to touch her or stroke her or pick her up. She was moving out of the way.
Autonomy was
She was
different,
like a little bit like, you can't touch me
Wasn't
now.
as tactile,
you know, and because she's got her comfort now, and that's the way it should be. She should have that autonomy, and so that was the only difference. But she totally remembered us. It was incredible.
It was wonderful. Inspired by that time, we've been singing about veganism from the top of our lungs and writing many songs that explore different concepts of veganism. And
part of our gigs when we perform is to send love and appreciation for everyone, for all beings, and to sing on behalf of the animals without judgment in our hearts. You know?
We realised that we've been raised in an incredible time where we was never given the opinion that any human is lesser than us. Like, we both had friends as children from different cultures and backgrounds.
And we were always taught, from as young as I remember in primary school, was always taught everyone is equal. You treat people equal no matter what their background, no matter what their culture.
And if anyone is slandering or being racist, that is wrong and bad, and that needs sorting out straight away. Whereas we were never taught that animals deserve an element of dignity or respect from being slaughtered. I think we all have it in us to be compassionate to animals. No one wants to see an animal suffer. That's why slaughterhouses don't have glass walls.
If any human saw what was going on in those places, I don't know how they could continue to support it. And if you do want to see what happens inside UK slaughterhouses, then you can watch a film on YouTube called The Land of Hope and Glory. It's not for the faint-hearted, and it's not for children to watch, because what happens inside UK slaughterhouses is just the most atrocious thing. And whether an animal is brought up on a free-range farm or an organic farm, they all end up in the slaughterhouse, you know.
Crammed in together.
And another thing that people may wonder about veganism is, you know, eggs and cheese and milk, they don't kill the animal, but ultimately, unfortunately, they do, because all of the dairy cows are sent to a slaughterhouse in the end, and all of the baby boy calves are killed almost instantly after birth because they don't produce milk. And then same with the egg industry, all the baby boy chicks are killed on day one of life, and in the most awful ways. Check the sex of the bird, what genitalia it has, and if it's a male bird, off it goes into the gas chamber. And like, these are the industries we're funding. When we go to a supermarket and buy some eggs, you're paying for that to happen, and we didn't know this before, and the minute we found out, we said we're not giving our money to that. We will not pay for living sentient beings that can feel pain to be treated in this way, you know.
So the song is you know, it's sort of acknowledging that there is, you know, an ongoing debate as to what is the best diet for humans. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, we need meat, we need milk, we need eggs, we need cheese. And it's, well, it's asking you then, if you are omnivorous, how can you raise your ethics and morals for animals? You know, can you be conscious of that omnivorous diet that you need to eat? And it was a transformation that we went through, and we're really happy that we've flourished on a vegan diet. We've managed to get through incredible amounts of trauma and grief on a whole food plant-based diet. We've managed to have an incredibly healthy son, and we're just so grateful that we live at a time where choosing to do what's morally right for animals is actually rewarding as a diet. You know, if you plan it well, a whole food plant-based diet full of the nutritional recommendations can be attained and can help us flourish. And we wish that all the world had access to this diet, and we believe that one day we will all have access to this diet, and it will only happen if we all strive to raise our moral and ethics for animals. You know,
and that's the power that we hold as people who spend our money in this society. What we spend our money on creates demand, and if we're going to eat animal products 3 times a day for 3 meals, like the kings and queens of this country used to do, then that's what we pay for, and that's what our demand pays for. And every single person can't live and eat like a king or queen every single day when half the world is starving, and there's a billion humans with no food to eat, and yet we grow enough food to feed 70 billion animals. The plant foods that we could be feeding to humans is quite people say this common argument that you know it's a privilege and a luxury to be vegan, without realizing that actually the privilege and the luxury is to be eating meat. We know now through the largest dietetic associations in the world, the British and the American dietetic associations, have put forward a peer-reviewed statement where they've peer-reviewed thousands and thousands of studies, and they've come to the conclusion that a whole food plant-based diet, a vegan diet, can be suitable for all stages of life: pregnancy, birth, lactation, old age. That's incredible. Like that might not be the case.
No.
Back in the day, people used to go vegan and they thought it probably was bad for their health.
Well, unfortunately,
but we know now that it can be amazing for your health. There's an amazing documentary called The Game Changers that has a look into vegan athletes, and not only can it be great for your health, but it can give you immense benefits for your health.
Yeah, we know of a little secret. Any one of us can seek it. Life revolves around attraction. Mine has merely found compassion. We're so grateful that you've tuned into this song today. We're also very grateful that some of our patrons on Patreon requested this song.
Yeah, thank you.
There's an incredible community blossoming there. If anyone would like to join us, please check out the link below.
If you have any questions about the lyrics, then do feel free to ask below. One of the most common things that people might say in response to what we've been talking about today is they will say so many animals are killed with growing crops, with monocrops, and that is absolutely true. But what is also true is that the majority of monocrops grown on our earth are fed to animals who are then made into meat. So it's not really an argument that can be made. Just to preempt that one.
It's good. We've been lucky enough to witness incredible activists, vegan activists and animal rights activists have these debates at top level, and
we'll link as many as we can below, because there's some incredible vegan activists, like you say, that you can go and listen to. They're far more knowledgeable on these subjects than us.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
And we're so blessed to live at this time of choice and abundance, and we wish it for everyone. Thank you for tuning in
so much, guys.
to Grassroots Sessions.
Check out all the links below, and we'll see you for our next Grassroots session.
Mwah, mwah. Grassroots Sessions is made possible by our wonderful patrons who support us on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of you beautiful beings.
Please join our Patreon today to help us create more videos. Donations are also very welcome here.